All righty, it's 6 o'clock. Thank everyone for coming out to our work session tonight. We got several items to go over in our work session. Just to make a note, we'll be adding a number 7, the Waco Fire Department parking lot paving process and bidding out. We'll be adding item number 8, the Board of Elections. And we'll be adding number 9 about the triple treatment for roads. So, got that.
What was it called, triple treatment?
Yes. That's the proper. Yes, triple treatment process for a road.
Okay.
Okay. The number 1 item we'll be talking about is the possum drop donation. Mayor? Coordinator, okay. Just
Yeah, thanks a lot. We wanted to, stop by, we come by every year and, talk to the commission, and you guys have been gracious and, give us a donation every year. And also we get the shuttle buses from you, which is a huge help, and, we appreciate that. So that was, the main thing that we wanted to address tonight is, the donation from, commission and, the permission to use the shuttle buses again this year. And we're prepared to do the same thing with the shuttle buses this year that we did last year. That was a change that we had from years before, where we will actually, put the buses under our insurance coverage at the city, during for the duration that we have those, and, we'll use them and, take care of those. Those are really good. We pick up at the Hampton Inn, we pick up at the Holiday Inn and the Eagle parking lot. And, this year we're also adding the, Yogi Bear Campground. This year, just talked to Ronnie Willis this afternoon, so we're gonna be working with them to try to fill their campground up this year. And, so we're excited, about that. We've got a great program planned this year. We've got some really good bands. We'll have our carnival, set up again. And so it's kind of like New Year's Eve and, county fair all rolled into one. We've been extremely fortunate. We get a lot of media coverage, and, we're gonna have some more this year. We have a lady coming, she's a writer, producer, and she's gonna be doing a documentary on the possum drop, for a series that she does, on Netflix, and, that will air later in the year. So we'll get that. She'll also be, looking at some other historic things within Haralson County, some tie-in stories to go with that. So, we're very happy with that. Right now, we're in a national contest with USA Today, and it's the top 10. And right now, we're running number 5. We asked everybody to vote, and we'd like to end up at least in the top 5, or we'd like to go for that number 1 spot. Well, we've got a great year planned this year, and we look forward to having everybody come out and having a good year, and everybody enjoying it and having a good time. Any questions? Well, we certainly appreciate it. I think last year, the commission gave us $750, and we certainly appreciate that. We're always asking for more, so look at that first page, that top number there, and, that's a big number. So, but seriously, if y'all would talk that over and, give them out that y'all, consider to donate, we certainly appreciate it.
okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Wells.
you.
Thank you for coming by tonight. All righty. Any questions on that item? All right. Item number 2 is the planning and zoning bylaws update. That's just something to bring for everyone to make sure you read. If there's any questions, I know Adam, the chairman of the, vice chairman of the board is, planning and zoning board's here. If you got any questions that you might have, if not.
What are they?
Yeah.
We'll be sending them out to you. I had to make sure I had the most up-to-date copy, and there was a change made that we need to make sure is in there. They didn't make any enormous changes, and it's redlined, so you'll be able to see what it was and what it will be.
My question to the board and to Adam as well, without haven't seen it, don't know what the changes may be, and the board may have questions that they want to get answered prior to voting. If we didn't vote, if is a big word, because if there was a hang-up, January wouldn't upset these bylaws, or do you need them in December?
I would defer to Avery on that. I don't see it doing anything. I mean, we're kind of operating,
Pretty much the same.
operating under the way it's written now. Some of the, I don't remember all the changes, but like it's got us in there as, one of the members, one of the appointed members is supposed to be the secretary. That's not how it's ever operated. So we just removed that verbiage. Can't remember exactly what's in it, but like I said, she's got.
It's not a lot of major
It's really
changes.
just housekeeping.
Okay.
Wasn't a lot of procedural. Again, the county attorney really went through it and helped us.
Update what we needed.
Anyway, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
If y'all got any questions or need to call me or.
That's even better. Thank you.
That'll be at your next meeting too, after you've read it.
All righty. Any other questions? Thank you, Adam. Item number 3, the library board appointment. We will be needing to appoint a person to the library board. I have Miss Allison has,
Who's coming off?
Yvonne Kimball,
Oh, is she?
she is.
Wow.
so, but Miss Allison, you know, has asked to be put in on, for that board, so, that's the only one name we have so far, but we, if any of y'all have a name, we would bring it to our next meeting, December.
She is wanting to run again. I misunderstood. She does not want to be recommended.
No,
no,
Yvonne
she-
Kimball's coming off. Apparently, it's an appointment that you stay there until it doesn't have like a 4-year term or something.
Okay.
And Miss Kimball and, my brain just totally went blank, Mary Gerald have both been on there for over 20 years.
Wow,
And Miss Kimball has said she would like to come off.
okay,
So,
all right.
so, all righty. Next, number 4, my turn project. I'll let Avery bring us up to date of where we're at on that. Our splosh has passed, and give us some options that we can do to kick this project off.
Sure. I know everybody's interested in getting the mine turn started, and now that SPLOST is passed, the questions have come up, how soon can we get it started? Everybody knows that $1 million comes off the top of the SPLOST from the entire county, including the cities, to go towards that project, and then the county also has some funds that it will collect in the upcoming SPLOST 8 to go towards that project, and then, of course, the county has some from the prior SPLOST that will be moved, or that was designated for that project. So the question came up is how can we go ahead and get this project started and moving before we get the SPLOST 8 collections started? And one way we can do that is that we have money reserved for the government complex, which will have to be funded over a long period of time anyways, and we will be getting SPLOST 8 collections in to help with that funding of the government complex. But we do have a lot of those funds that we've already collected, and we can use some of those funds and then repay them with that $1 million off the top that we'll get from SPLOST 8 if the board wants to go ahead and get started with that project. And we talked with our bond attorney that's helping us out through SPLOST and the funding of the government project, and he gave us the options and how to move through those options, so they are available if the board wants to move forward with that.
Do you find bonding a better option? We had talked once before of ACCG doing a lease.
So we are, we do have a financing option available to the county for the government complex that we will be using for that will involve long-term repayment over the SPLOST 8 time period. The My Turn wasn't a part of that funding source. So the question of how to get started with My Turn is that we just move funds from our government complex project to My Turn, and then when we collect the $1 million off the top for My Turn, we repay that money that's reserved for the government complex.
So there is no bonding for this project?
There is no bonding for
Okay,
this
that's,
project, yes.
we got the money to go ahead and repay ourselves at a later date.
We have the money to go ahead. We will not be using any bonds or financing source for the government complex project until we get to the point where we get a GMP, a gross maximum price from the contractor. Well, we haven't selected a contractor yet. The architect and the contractor have to develop those plans. You're looking at a long time period before we have to do that. So we'd anticipate getting these collections back in pretty quick because it's $1 million off the top of SPLOST State.
And for the SPLOST is for 6 years?
That's correct.
But actually, since we're using some of that SPLOST 8 that we'll be entering into for the government complex, we can wait till the 6 years is close to up and put it back on SPLOST 9 for government complex and never have to go out and bond money. Now, if it doesn't pass, it would be on the burden of a bond backed by property taxes. Tell me if that's correct thinking.
So we had talked about financing the government complex over the 6 years of SPLOST 8 and not going into SPLOST 9 is what we had originally talked about. Now, we don't have the budget yet. We don't have the gross maximum price. We're still focusing in on those, but at least what we had talked about previously is that we think we could fund that over just the 6 years of SPLOST 8.
Okay?
Now, that may change once we look at everything, but that was the,
So we don't have any numbers on anything construction-wise.
that's correct. Yeah.
And does that also depend on the sale of our industrial park land, or is it without that sale to be able to do it in 6 years?
We can repay it faster if we sell that land. Yeah,
Okay.
and it will be much less, we could easily do it over the 6 years if we were able to sell that land.
Okay.
If
Thank
we
you.
don't sell that land, then that will factor in, and we may or may not. But we will bring you before we get that close to needing the bond funds, we'll bring you the financing schedule and the cash flows and how we anticipate it working out over the whole time period. And if there's options that you need to look at, we'll bring you both options so that you can determine whether you want more flexibility or you want to repay it over a shorter period of time.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Any other questions? So basically with the My Turn project, it would come up as a vote in December for us to redirect them funds. And then, because we have already had it bidded out and got a contractor, and they would be able to execute and get started on My Turn fields.
We
Good.
have a bid out to the contracting work.
Yeah, everything's sitting ready to go, except for all the funding.
And from what we had discussed previously, that once we allocated and those cities worked together and once SPLOST went through, we was gonna have the money to start it and complete it.
Yep.
That's what we had discussed.
Right.
That'll be the quadruplex, it'll be the
Yes.
the 4 fields.
Yes.
Including
Yeah.
My Turn.
Everything. All right. Okay, well, we've kind of, go ahead, Ms.
When, you had also discussed that when you redirect those funds, the vote, you would also vote to redirect the 414,000 for the ladder truck, which should be coming in hopefully in December sometime.
Yes.
I just wanted to put that out there for y'all to remember too.
Yeah, we would put that on December's. All right. All right, we've covered both the government complex and my turn, Phil. No other questions? The next item is the camper ordinance.
What is the next, well, let me go back to government complex. What is our next move on government complex?
There's really anything to do at this point.
Yeah, so the first step, remember, we talked about acquiring the additional 16 acres and the negotiations for those. So the architect really needs to know whether we're going to get that or not before you get the footprint of the building and where it's going to sit on the property. So the first step is
The commitment out of the current owner.
the sooner we can get that land squared away, then the sooner we can have the architect done with the plans. And we can go ahead and, after the architect does the plans, we're gonna hire the CM at risk, so we'll need to go through that RFP process. And the CM at risk, the contractor will work with the architect to complete the plans together. So then they will complete the plans, and when they get to 80, 90%, or we'll have a GMP. There may be a prior change order for long lead items that we want to go ahead and order, that the contractor and the architect say, hey, you need to order these things because there's a 10, 11, 12-month lead time on them. So we'll do that. And then once you get the GMP and the board approves the GMP, then contractor goes to work and breaks ground. 3 months before that time, that's when we'll look at the bond funding. It would take 3 months to go through that bond process. So we would do that in anticipation of the GMP.
Instead of hiring a contractor, if we did a construction manager, what's your opinion on that?
It will be a construction manager at risk. That is the format that we decided to go through.
Good.
Yep. Found that to be the best, where they actually work with the architect on the plans, and you get the GMP, and then you hopefully have very few change orders after that.
Let me ask, and I'm just trying to save dollars if we can. Is there a construction, something could go wrong with construction if we just didn't depend, by just depending on our general contractor and the architect? Is this middleman totally necessary for our protection?
So most government projects that I have seen recently, and you're talking about the project manager now for the,
That the
which is
county
the,
hire.
yes, which is the county's, say, representative.
Right.
And works with the CM at risk and the architect to make sure everything is coordinated properly. We discussed this previously and the
Yeah,
board
we
agreed
have,
to
and I
it.
just wanted to go back and visit that again.
Yep, that I've seen many problems on jobs without one, and having that person in place can help alleviate those problems before they start, or if they do appear, then having them involved at that stage can mitigate them if they do show up. So yes, I've seen it be very beneficial.
What's their percentage? I remember him telling us.
It's in the contract. I think it's not a percentage. I think it's just an hourly rate that he's charging so he's not taking a percentage like the architect or like the contractor. He's just billing by the hour, and if we need him more, then he bills more. If you don't need him that much, then he won't bill as much.
Okay, all right, that's a good, okay, I'm good with that. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Next item, camper ordinance. Drew?
This has been kind of a long process. We've had a over the most current, rewrite. There's some additional language in there after we went through planning and zoning. And I'm perfectly fine with the majority of it. I do believe that it will help us advancing forward. There is one part that I do have a little bit of an apprehension on, only because we've ran into some issues with it, with, the trailers. There is a hardship clause currently in there, and I've personally seen that hardship clause abused in the last 8 to 9 months. And I don't know if I feel comfortable with a hardship clause on a camper, because then, you know, you're bringing in a 40-year-old camper or whatever the case may be under the hardship clause, very much like a trailer. There's a thing, it's called officer discretion, right? And that's kind of the big thing we're preaching on. There's a couple ways to circumvent this. We're very aware that hardships happen, especially in this day and age. So you can leave it up to that enforcing officer to use some common sense and say, well, you know, my brother had a heart attack, he had to come stay with me for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever the case may be. You say, hey, no problem, we'll come back in 8 weeks, we'll check back up on you, right? Make sure the sewage and all that stuff's being taken care of properly. I'm just worried that having a full-blown hardship, clause or hardship waiver is going to lead, to essentially people go into the urgent care and give them something written down, and the next thing I know, there's 140-year-old campers strewn about. There's nothing I can do about it because they got that clause. Another thing would be just vetting, you know, that it's coming from it's a legitimate hardship, right? Maybe we can label out what some of those legitimate hardships are, but that'll be another little small rewrite in there too, which again is kind of open to interpretation as well. But overall, you know, 99.9% of it, I am happy with how it's written.
Do you ever foresee that those hardship cases would come before the board and made a decision on?
I would actually,
They have to, that's what we put in the ordinance.
Oh, you just have to put that in the ordinance.
Yeah, it's a conditional use for 12 months if approved.
Okay, then that answers that question.
yeah, and I may not have the most current one. I spoke to Nicole earlier, she sent me one. It's been rewritten quite a few times, so I may not have one, or I may have overlooked it. But if that were the case, that may be a little bit better, because essentially, you know, they're showing up with a using this loosely, but a handwritten piece of paper saying, you know, I have a hardship, and, you know, the determination's made right then and there. Unfortunately, like I said, we've been gotten as a county, with some of the current hardships. And I'm just trying to prevent any kind of long, future problems in that. That'd be my only apprehensions, that little small detail there. But beyond that, I think overall the ordinance is, pleased with how it's written.
So if I'm not mistaken, we put in there, it's gotta come before the planning zone to receive a conditional use permit. And the camper has to be tagged for that current year through the tag office for it to qualify. So,
So where does a hardship case and the board come into play?
so it would become before the zoning board first, and then we're just, again, we're a recommended body, so then it would go before y'all for final approval, is my understanding, is the way it's written.
Yeah, I'm looking here, and I do remember there's something about it being tagged. I don't think that's actually in the hardship. I think that's under the construction part. But I don't think that'd be an issue getting that transferred to the hardship portion as well. Because the county will allow you to live in an RV while you're doing construction on the home. Granted that you're getting it inspected and things like that within that 18-month period, every 6 months. But we can probably have another line or two added, because I understand what he's saying. And it's written in there, but I don't think it's written in the hardship portion of it. But I don't think that'd be very hard to get that out if y'all would be comfortable with that process.
Would?
And then you start seeing people
We
holding
just-
the camper while the home's been done.
There's gotta be an avenue for people that need help. You know,
Yes.
your house burned down or something like that, and you've got this camper, so you can move into it. It's gotta have septic, it's gotta have permitted septic, permitted water, permitted power, it's gotta be tagged, so they're meeting all the tax requirements. I'm not a fan of charging a fee, because that's just an extra tax, and we shouldn't be applying extra taxes. But also, I disagree with Drew on that, but we should allow a way for this to happen. I hear you on officer discretion, but you may not be the officer here in 12 months. You know, I hope you are, but, so I think there needs to be a base way for it to happen.
Yeah, and I am against charging any kind of tax or any kind of additional things, kind of like the state
It's
of.
hardship already.
Right. Now, the state of Alabama, they will charge you for essentially having a trailer on your property that you already own. They make you pay into that. So I am against that, you know, I don't want to, this isn't to collect money from anybody, we understand. It's just, I would like to see, if we go through those avenues and it will become in front of the board, that's not necessarily how it's written as I'm reading it right now. But if we could put some of that verbiage in there, that language in there, I'd be a lot more comfortable with it. And I think that would be, as a board, can decide what's best for the county. Instead of an individual, how it's set up.
The
prior to
board,
this.
the permitting board and the board of directors, they would be an advisory board as whether they say it's up or down.
Much like they are now, yes, because right now it's determined in office, it never really, it doesn't have a weight to ascend, so I think that would be very helpful to at least let it go through a couple boards, and then I'll be fine with it if the wording is like that.
Okay.
And like I said, I may not have the most current one, I thought I did, but I'm reading it, and like I said, some of the things, Mr. Buddy's saying is it's not in mine, so.
And once you make those changes, you'll be getting us copies? Okay.
Well, there'd be a way to expedite the process, because when it goes to them, then, it takes 2 weeks or whatever and comes to us. And if somebody's in a hardship, they don't need to wait 2 or 3 weeks, a month before they can, start,
I think that's where he's right on his officer discretion. If your house burns down and you get in the camper tonight, nobody's gonna kick you out.
Exactly right. That's what I'm getting at.
It's more about people permanently living in these structures that are dilapidated.
100%.
Stuff like that. And obviously, if your camper needs a tarp over it, you're probably not gonna buy a tag for it. Well, you might, but
Yeah,
I don't know how you can get around that.
yeah, well, and truth be told, maybe, permits or planning can issue a temporary 30-day
Yeah.
hardship while it goes through the avenues, and I would be okay with that too. And maybe they can shoot me an email,
Yep.
and I can kind of look into it myself. But I'd be even okay with them going into the office, getting a temporary hardship before they get to the board and get in front of you guys.
And that's what I would rather it do, because it's coming to you before it comes to us, and, there's such a time lapse there.
But even with, and I'm good with that, but they still gotta have water and septic.
Yes, now that is worded in there. They do
Yep.
have to have.
Regardless, if we give them 30 days,
Right.
to
Right,
go
yeah,
on.
they have to have some type of septic, they have to have some type of permitted power. Obviously, if the house burns down, right, we'll allot that time to get a pole set, things like that. But yeah, that is in there as it's written right now.
okay. Sounds good.
All right. Thank y'all. Okay, hey, item number 7, we'll be putting out the Waco parking lot cement bid again. And,
Allison, you want to read what we had discussed?
At this point, Haralson County, will be demolishing, hauling off, and doing the rough grading of the entire parking lot of the Waco Fire Department. The bid that will be put out will be for the final grade, the wire rebar, 4,000 PSI, 8-inch cement, 2 foot by 2 foot in front of all the bays, and to pour and finish.
That sound good to y'all?
We will have that written up in detail and put it out on the webpage within the next 2 weeks.
We're gonna do the entire parking lot now, but our county's gonna tear it out.
Terry, are you okay with this, the way that we're submitting this out for bid this time? Okay. 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 Yeah, I'd rather you be okay. Okay. Yeah, and I think the only thing that'll be considered here is like whenever you'll have to get with whoever, timelines, yeah, yep. Everybody work together. Okay. That's right. Thank you.
you, Terry.
How much, beside the fire station area, do we own that parking lot right there, or does someone else own it? We need to get with them and make sure they'll let us park our trucks there, because when you start the demolition and all this, you have nowhere to put your trucks, no way to get them in and out. So we're gonna have to have somewhere to park the trucks for firemen to get in and out of the trucks. So,
We'll have to get with the property owners next door or find a place.
I can, I think,
know them?
I think it's,
I know a lot of times everybody's just
yeah,
been parking, it's never been, but yeah, that would be good.
yeah.
Be good to.
I
just
think it's,
follow.
if I'm not mistaken, it's, who owns that, Adam? Jerry Pounds, that's who I thought.
Who does?
Jerry Pounds.
Oh, does he? Okay.
I'm sure he won't have a problem with that, but we need to ask him anyway.
Okay, item number 8, Board of Elections. Commissioner Tarpley has brought ordinance, I would call it, from Carroll County, how their procedures, and we will all be getting a copy of it to see how they do their Board of Elections.
Yeah, I just wanted the board to, and Avery had, I believe you had sent to us the old way, or the current way, that the Board of Election is made up. And if you read it and see all the moving parts in it, and then you read the way Carroll County's is, I think we would find it much simpler and easier to maintain through this office than to have 4 different entities trying to keep up with the elections board. And what we did the other night was just simply, if one of those 4 entities failed to make an appointment, we, the Board of Commissioners, would make it instead of the governor. And I get that, but that's why we don't need 4 different entities looking after something. So I strongly urge you to read it. And the reason I was pushing so hard last 2 weeks ago to hold off, and I don't know where Avery is on this, I really want the board to consider this so that, and I want, so that Avery only has to submit one resolution to the State Assembly for changing. And either one, it's just a really good option to look at. And I appreciate it. And if you got any questions, call me, and hopefully we can put it, if we want to change, hopefully we can put it on our voting meeting in December, so that Avery, once again, only sends in one request.
I think before we do anything, we probably do need to check with Representative Smith and Senator Bearden and see what they're willing to approve. Because at the end of the day, what we're doing is not binding on anybody until they actually pass it. So we just better make sure that whatever we pass down here, they're gonna
Well,
put forth
you know,
as local legislation down there at the House.
You know, the rule of thumb, although it be unwritten rule of thumb,
Yeah.
is a 5-0 vote. And I think that's wrong. 3 people represent 75% of the population. That's how we're elected. 4 district commissioners represent 100%, and then we got a chairman that represents us all. So if you had 3 district commissioners that voted for it, that's 75% of the populace that they're representing. I don't understand why the state has such a mindset of it's got to be a 5-0. I know what they say. They don't want to get into our politics. Well, no, but this is the mind of the people. Aren't they supposed to listen to what we ask them to do? They don't get asked by every 30,000 people in this community. If the majority says one thing, then they represent us, and they dang sure ought to take it into consideration. So anyway,
Okay.
please read it, and
That's what we was emailed this afternoon.
yes.
Okay. Last item, number 9, the triple treatment. Danny, I know
Yeah, I
you
had,
spoke with
Yeah, I've
Terry and y'all
been
talked
speaking
about
with Terry a little bit, and I've reached out to a county close by that does this on a lot of their dirt roads, and you know, we've got a lot of maintenance expense through the county with our dirt roads. Aggregate goes up 2 to 4 times a year. There's a lot of expense there. I would just like us to kind of look into this for the future not something that we need to do right now, but, you know, I would really like to see us implement this in the future in some of our dirt roads. Maybe one or two a year, or look at the ones that's really costing us a lot of time and labor, intensive that Terry's having to go out and repair these roads and
What
put a lot
is
of
it
time.
exactly? What is triple tree?
It's like a tar and gravel, but it'll put us, it's a triple layment. Terry, will you speak on this? It's a layment that'll be put down, prepped and laid to where 5, 6 years down the road, we'll have a
Have a
base that
base.
we can pave on.
So it's a lot like our tar and gravel days. Okay? Just called different.
Yeah. Well, there's
We don't
double
have
and-
the machines anymore. I know the machines will wore out when we quit this program. How much would new equipment?
Actually, I think it'd be more feasible for us to contract it. I've done a little homework and reached out to a particular company that does this type work. And I've been in talks with those people about pricing and, different things to try to educate myself on, going forward. But it's still early on in the conversation. But, been over to a fellow county or surrounding county and looked at some of their work. Tried to do my homework a little bit, but I still don't have enough information really to give a whole lot of feedback to the board.
Well,
Something I'm looking forward to as far as if it's feasible and economical to maybe get some of these, gravel roads up to a stable surface, so to speak, and enable us in a short time to be able to asphalt it or something, try to improve some of our gravel roads.
Well, I hope that you find that financially good, because I know we got roads out in the Devil's Kitchen area that were once tar and gravel and are now paved. While we're on that subject, what about Carroll County does it, because I've been on some of the dirt back roads that has it. They put something that holds the dust down.
It's actually put out by a water truck, it's something that's liquefied.
Yeah,
We've looked into it in the past,
very costly.
to us,
Okay, all right.
as our county is.
And how long might that treatment last?
Well, there's discretion on that.
Depending on the use.
According, if you ask the manufacturer, you ask realistically a citizen, so, I mean, there's a lot of determining factors that, but ultimately, at this point in time, we looked at it, it was just not financially able to do it, to be perfectly honest with you.
Okay, all right.
Smaller county.
Back to that triple thing, I know the company, that we've been told about was from Pennsylvania. Have you been able to find any local companies that can? Okay.
Not got a lot of positive feedback, so I've reached out to different companies and then get some positive feedback, from some of the work they've done, put my eyes on it myself and kind of look through the process.
Local?
Within Georgia, yeah.
Okay.
Why wouldn't one of the paving companies get into that because it's gonna give them new business down the road?
It is.
It is actually one of the paving companies that does this triple treatment.
Okay,
Yeah, Terry and I have been talking back and forth too, because it's something I'm passionate about, because I've got a few in my district, and I know there's a lot in y'all's district, a lot. But I wanna look at it 5, 6, 7 years down the road, what we're gonna do with these roads, and the way that aggregate is getting, I know of one road that me and the chairman went and looked at over in Mr. Farmer's, and there's no telling how much money's been sunk into that road, through the years.
potholes are just not
Complete
staying.
washouts.
Washouts, okay.
Complete washouts, ditching. I think the county that I've been speaking with, they told me that what they have saved in maintenance and material and labor is about 27% a year, just on the roads that they've done in the last 2 years. And, like I say, it's not something that I want to implement right now. Terry has got a great plan of action. I just think it's something that we need to dig into a little deeper.
This triple treatment, am I correct in saying you don't have to obtain right-of-ways to do it as you would?
There's a lot of contributing factors to what the discretion of the board is, A lot of our rural county routes, we don't have right of ways.
Really?
Very little right of way on our gravel roads.
But we got, but as long as it's what, 10 or 12 foot, are we looking at? That's, that far as getting it funded for asphalt.
We are limited, and I don't think this'll fit the whole roads as a whole. But I think there's some isolated roads or some unique roads that we have that this will be applicable to.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Without obtaining right of way. We've got enough road surface to be able to manage it, and then, we'll come up with a plan,
Yeah.
Like I said, I work pretty aggressively trying to get right of ways on roads every year. That's how we pave a couple roads, dirt roads a year, is to, there's a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of due diligence, and then, getting people to come in and sign and explain things to us, but, we're making progress, we're just looking at maybe a more economical, or try to get some of these gravel roads up to a stable surface.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's our goal. If we're not gonna be able to pave unless we get them to a stable surface, that's kind of our goal. Like I said, it's so early, it's hard for me to give y'all,
Yeah.
Much feedback.
I live on a tar and gravel road, and to my knowledge, it's never been resurfaced. I mean, it could use it now, of course, but it's been there for 40 years.
Yeah, they last. If they're done correctly, they last, and,
I think there again, it's isolated.
yep,
You
yep.
can't, I don't think it's applicable to put tar and gravel on a road that's got heavy traffic volume.
No,
A main corridor, so to speak. It's a dead end or, 15, 20 residents, I think it warrants that.
that's right.
So it's not a blanket to all roads, but we could use it and isolate it to roads that we could apply it to, which would, benefit the taxpayers and, county also.
And that's exactly what neighboring counties are doing. They're doing it on smaller rural roads that don't have a lot of impact. And they're just trying to cut back on their labor, intensive stuff. And it's something that they'll have a stable surface 5, 6, 7 years down the road. If they get ready to overlay it,
Well,
they
more than
got it.
that, you give your citizens on those
give
roads,
them
you
yeah, that's
you
right.
give them something.
That's right. That's
You
right.
get them off the dirt road.
I can promise you, my ultimate goal, I talked to the Polk County Director, yesterday, and he was shocked when I told him that, my goal was to pave every road.
Yeah.
He's like, really? Realistically? And I'm like, well, that's where I set the bar, that's the goal. I don't think if we don't approach it that way, then we're never gonna get there.
That's right.
But they've got every road paved, don't they?
No.
But they do their own.
No, sir.
Polk County doesn't do their own?
Limited.
Huh?
They do very limited.
They do very limited now. They don't do it all.
Very limited.
Portions.
They won't have to put more manpower to do it at large volume.
Okay.
Like I said, if it's a small area, they don't do it in-house. But they're kind of similar to us, and of course, they're much bigger county, but they're similar to us. They don't have the workforce and, the finances to do that amount of volume throughout the whole county. But they
Okay.
do minimum stuff in-house.
Yeah, I just wanted, do your homework on it, just like I am and Terry, and let's all work together and see if we can't come up with some kind of plan of action.
I don't think it's something happened overnight.
No,
This we're trying to pursue a better, situation to get some of these roads planned for the better purpose.
yep. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry. All righty. That's our last agenda item at this time.
If I can, I just got a text. I don't think it's a surprise. I guess a lot of people on Facebook are talking about they can't hear. Would it be possible for y'all to hang some mics in this room? I know I've seen places where they got like lapel mics and stuff hanging throughout the room. I think it'd be, because a lot of people are starting to pay attention.
Yeah.
On social media to these meetings, and I think it'd be reasonable to.
I'm glad you brought that up because that mic right there is worst of all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
the
mean,
one
you turn your head and you can't hear nothing, when you're up there speaking.
so.
So yeah, they all need to be,
I think it'd be a value to talk to somebody and get this room kind of set up to where.
I agree.
Yeah.
We will. I know I had got a text too about this microphone here that everybody seems to hear these real well
Right.
in them, but
That
that's,
one
That
right
one
there.
is
So-
really bad.
we'll, Allison, we'll figure out, who's done this, we'll get
Do they
them.
hear from the clerk's desk all right? I don't
I,
remember.
everybody just says that mic there is the one that's the biggest
Issue.
issue,
Yeah,
so.
as long as we talk
Thank
into
you.
these mics, we're good, but that one right there is completely,
bad.
It's like you're whispering.
I think even over here, just when people
Yeah,
talk in general, it'll help.
Yes,
I agree.
some hanging mics. All right. Thank you for bringing it. All right. Everyone have a good night and safe trip home. Thank you.
And happy Thanksgiving.
And happy Thanksgiving. That's right.
Yeah.